All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Shanna Briggs, and I'm going to be leading our talk tonight. First, a little bit about me. So, I'm coming here tonight from Palisade, Colorado, and I really love health and fitness. I am a chiropractor by trade, and I've been an athlete for the last 25 years. I started out in endurance sports. I ran track and field and cross country for Kent State University back in the early 2000s. And then I got into CrossFit while I was in chiropractic college. And I fell in love with competing with CrossFit. And I spent about 11 years up until the pandemic competing there. And I had the opportunity to compete at the CrossFit Games back in 2015. So needless to say, I'm passionate about health and fitness. And as a chiropractor, I love keeping people healthy and helping people to feel strong in their bodies so that they don't feel like they always have to go to the chiropractor or go to the doctor. So tonight, we're going to talk about some breakthroughs in science and some products that can really help elevate your health. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so the company that I'm introducing to you all tonight is a company called LifeVantage. And this company is a biotech company on the forefront of a field of science known as Nutrigenomics, nutrition for your genes. So before we jump in, just some disclosures. First of all, we are a nutraceuticals supplement company, so we do not claim to cure, treat, or mitigate any kind of disease processes. And also later on, I'm going to be talking a little bit about some average earnings and average incomes, and we're not making any promises about people in the company. It's a network marketing company. So just like anything in life, you get out what you put into it. There's no promises or anything like that. So part of our tagline is flip the switch, feel better and do more. So how do we do that? First, let's think about what we are up against on a daily basis. So on a daily basis, our bodies are being hijacked and not necessarily in a way that builds up stress or builds up strength. Rather, we are bombarded with various stresses within our food and water. There are pesticides, there are chemicals in our environment and our household cleaners. We have stresses within our relationships, personal relationships, stressful relationships at work. Oftentimes we're not sleeping appropriate hours. If you drink alcohol, if you smoke cigarettes, all these things are impacting your body. And then we have the technology, all these artificial lights, the EMFs from the different technology, they're all impacting our bodies in different ways. So, one thing you want to keep in mind, did you know that since our Industrial Revolution, there's been 85,000 chemicals introduced to the general public? We find these in our products, in our soils, they are coming into our systems. And another little fact related to this, that while European countries have banned somewhere around 1,500 of these 85,000 chemicals, in the United States, last I heard, we'd only banned about 11 of these. So it really comes down to being advocates for our own health and educating ourselves about what are in the products that you find on the everyday shelves at the stores. All right, so we can do the best to eliminate these products, educate ourselves, have awareness, but the reality is that if you're alive today, here in the 21st century, you are having the lights dimmed on your body. So what does that feel like? It feels like a decrease in your immune function. Your body doesn't feel as strong. You feel like you have some brain fog, general sluggishness, and even you can impact your mood. So if you have a lot of stress, you might feel like you're in a little bit more of a bad mood or have a lack of motivation. And then just this overall sense of fatigue. It sound familiar to any of you, or do you know anyone in your life that's dealing with this? So tonight I'm going to introduce to you, or maybe for some of you, you've heard it before. We're going to talk about 3 theories of aging: oxidative stress, mitochondrial decline, and what is called sirtuin activity. All right, so before we jump into that, what I really love sharing, not just about these products, but having an expanded awareness about the breakthroughs that we've had in science. So just in the last 20 years, which maybe that sounds like a long time, but when you come to like medical research and science, 20 years can go by pretty quickly. So science has already discovered that our genes contain incredible abilities to keep our bodies healthy. One of the main projects that really created a lot of this information was called the Human Genome Project. And that concluded in 2003. And it showed about, I think it's 23,000 different gene pairs of how it impacts our body. So it like literally exploded as far as what it means. And the whole notion that if you have something in your genetics, if your family had heart disease, high blood pressure, various types of disorders, now we know that you are not the victim of your genetics. Only about 5% of all types of disease processes and whatnot are actually just inherited and not controllable through lifestyle factors. So just something to keep in mind. You can do a lot for your health that you may not be aware of. So knowing now that you can leverage those genes and flip the switch, would you? We're going to talk about that a little bit more. What does that mean? How does this work?
You want to get an edge on.
But before I jump into that further, I'm going to introduce to you this ABC report. It's about 3 minutes long. It's going to show you what was aired back in 2005. And this is just the history behind the flagship product, Protandim NRF2, and how it was introduced. So go ahead and just kind of sit back, take this on. It's about 3.5 minutes.
Turning back the clock? Who doesn't? Well, it's no longer science fiction, but science possibility, a potential breakthrough. It may not look like the fountain of youth, but inside this nondescript building, I'm about to become part of an exciting experiment. For me, it begins with a blood test.
It wouldn't be the first time I've given blood for this company.
They want to check my levels of something called T-bars, which is a rough indicator of a person's actual age. T-bars can identify a condition known as oxidative stress, a kind of measure of the wear and tear on our bodies. Oxidative stress, like the rusting of an engine, is not a good thing. The problem of aging begins with the very food we eat to give us energy. As our cells burn that food, they also release toxic chemicals. Those chemicals, you may know them as free radicals, react with all the components of our cells, literally bombarding them millions of times per second, damaging all our cells. The result? Oxidative stress, and we all have it. The body fights back with a system of defenses. It makes two antioxidant enzymes, catalase and SOD, whose job is to gobble up the free radicals before they can harm our cells.
So, doctor, how often do I take these?
And so, here I go. With that swallow, I've just become part of a potentially landmark scientific experiment. It's called Protandim, and tests have already shown that it revs up the manufacture of those good enzymes in our bodies. More enzymes, fewer free radicals to harm us. Normally, oxidative stress, measured by those T-bars, increases with age, but taking just one pill of Protandim a day reversed that trend for everyone at every age, even for an 80-year-old. So, just what's in this seemingly incredible pill? Well, actually, its roots are very humble. Protandim is a combination of 5 plant ingredients. Some you may know: green tea or turmeric, a spice used in Indian cooking. Others, Withania somnifera and Silybum marianum, are more exotic. High oxidative stress is associated with more than aging. It's been linked to hundreds of illnesses.
It's at the very center of many diseases: liver disease, diabetes, emphysema, asthma, all of these, strokes, heart attacks.
Even mental disease.
Yes.
Depression?
Alzheimer's disease, depression.
But what about my progress? After nearly 2 weeks now, it's time to get my results. The result? My level of oxidative stress has declined dramatically. Just look at where I fall on the graph, before and after. Have we turned back the clock? Maybe not on the outside, but deep inside within my cells. Yes, indeed.
We do know that oxidative stress is part of those disease processes. I don't want to wait until I'm 80 years old and find out that I should have taken it.
The company that makes Protandim says its tests show the pill, made from ingredients used for centuries, is absolutely safe. For more, go to our website at abcnews.com.
All right, so there you have it. That's where it all got started. At that point in time, Protandim was a retail product sold on the stores of supplement stores, GNC, Walgreens, what have you. But the reality is people didn't know what it was. It's a cellular activator, which I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what does that mean compared to supplements. But there's not an activator shelf in the store. And so when it was sitting next to vitamin C, people just didn't know what it was. So that's here what we are sharing what it's all about. So oxidative stress, as they were talking there, damages the inside of the cell, and we're all exposed to it. Just breathing. Oh, you could mute yourself, please. Just breathing is going to cause that increase in oxidative stress. And the beauty about Protandim NRF2 is that it turns on the pathway, and it's proven to help reduce that oxidative stress 40% in 30 days. And if you notice there on the video, he had a 45% reduction in just 2 weeks. So if you're familiar with those shows, the whole intention for those shows is to try to like debunk and disprove claims that companies are making. So in this instance, it showed that the claim was true. So there you have it. It sells for $49.99, Protandim NRF2. It's the leading NRF2 activator out there. And lowers our oxidative stress, which just helps our bodies to feel better and to function more. And in regards to the antioxidants that it turns on, they listed some of them there. Our body can produce our own natural antioxidants. So when you eat food like blueberries, then you get your antioxidants, but essentially it functions in the body on like a 1-to-1 ratio, where it helps one free radical to become paired. Whereas when you turn on the natural occurring antioxidants in your body, now it's literally 1,000,000 to 1, where it's like a little Pac-Man. They're just going through the body, eating up all the oxidative stress, and it's far more potent than when we are eating our antioxidants. That doesn't mean a reason to not eat a good diet, but just something to keep in mind, the potency of it. So here is a very powerful statement that was made by Washington State University. After that was aired, medical institutions and universities, they wanted to study this product. So they got their hands on it, they started doing research on it, and they found that NRF2 is likely to be the most important health promoting approach in the foreseeable future. NRF2 may become the most extraordinary breakthrough in the history of health. So just let that sink in. That's a really powerful statement and something that you really want to know about, pay attention to. Those of you coming on, if you could just mute yourselves, please. All right, so here we go, LifeVantage approach. And this is just simply a graph showing how the NRF2 works. So typically our body's natural production of antioxidants declines with age. However, with NRF2, it's going to help keep up your body's natural ability, which helps reduce the onset of aging. And then, as I mentioned, people started doing research, companies started doing research. And what's very unique about Protandim is that you can go to pubmed.gov. This is the database that medical specialists utilize to study the peer-reviewed information. And Protandim has over 27 peer-reviewed studies. You can learn about all different things, and it just really speaks to the validity of these products. So next we begin to look at switches for mitochondrial health and sirtuin activity. So with the mitochondrial theory of aging, essentially your battery is not charged. Let's take a step back. What are the mitochondria? Mitochondria, if you remember back to science class, they're like the energy producing components of your cell. So if your mitochondria are not functioning as well, if they're not repairing, your body's overall energy is going to decline. So how do we impact that? Well, they found an NRF1 pathway, and this is the pathway responsible for the rejuvenation and the repair of those mitochondria to keep them healthy so that we can age better. And it helps increase the production of the NRF1 genes. Remember, we're turning on switches for these genes, increasing that activity by nearly 70%. And again, this is about a $49.99 price range. And then the third Protandim, we have 3 in this family. Oops, excuse me, got ahead of myself. There we have our mitochondria one, increasing the NRF1 activity by 70%. And then our third theory of aging, our sirtuin decline, it reduces the ability to degunk the cell. So this is very important. It's normal for our body as our cells are reprocessing as we live life. Our cells get damaged and they need to repair themselves. So our body has this natural way to degunk and function as a detoxifier for our body to keep us healthy. So sirtuins, again, decline with age, and we found an ability to turn those on. How does that work? It's a switch known as the NAD pathway, and that's the pathway responsible for this sirtuin activity. All these ingredients are plant-based, they're herbal ingredients, they're all natural, they're very safe. And you can see here, we increase sirtuin activity by 100% in 24 hours. And that is really potent. How you can do this naturally is by fasting. So intermittent fasting, long periods of fasting will help your body naturally turn that on. Or you can take the Protandim NAD and turn on that activity by 100% in just 24 hours. And you see there also $49.99. All right, so we got those sirtuins turned on, helping our cells to degunk so that they stay clean and healthy and function better as a whole. So what happens when you flip on all three switches? That's what we looked at. We combine these products, the NRF1, NRF2, and our NAD. And they call this product, when all three are combined, the Tri-Synergizer, because while the ingredients have a synergistic effect when they are by themselves, when you combine those products, they're even more potent. So on this graph here, the gray labels, that is the NRF1 and NRF2 by themselves in these various columns. And then when you add the blue in, that is their potency when all three are taken together. So they work together and have really powerful impact in the body. And then something else that I hear oftentimes from people that I want to recognize here is that people will say, well, I'm taking green tea, I take turmeric, I take milk thistle, all these different ingredients. But that's the whole point. Is the breakthrough was the discovery that the proper ratio is what causes the potent effect. And they found that the ingredients by themselves versus taken together for just the NRF2 by itself has like an 18% increase. So it's similar to like if you were to bake a cake and you put in different ingredients, then you're not going to have the same outcome if you use different ratios. So just keep that in mind. So knowing all that, are you ready to flip the switch? Do you want to impact your body to support a positive mood, increase your motivation, boost your mental and physical energy, and really just support yourself to have longevity and allow yourself to have a really good quality of life and help your body to thrive? And there you have our Protandim Tri-Synergizer. These are our main products and the big breakthrough. And you can see it's less than $5 a day when you purchase all three together. You save about $25 a month. So check that out, really powerful product. And then here is our full line. So the company started out with just that NRF2, and they've taken that NRF2 technology and they've been able to utilize it in different products. So we have ProBio that is really great for gut health. Gut health is very important these days. Our immune system, 60 to 80% of our immune system starts with our gut. So it's really important to take care of that. And our ProBio has a special technology known as a BioTrack technology that helps it to have a time release. So regular probiotics, when you take them, they may get absorbed before they get to the part of your digestive tract that they're really doing the job. And that's one of the things that sets the ProBio apart. We have a prebiotic and a weight management system. We have this NRF2 technology in skincare and hair care line. If I could get it out, Louisiana State University has done studies with skin cancer and NRF2 technology. So just things to check out. Again, we don't make any claims to cure, treat, or mitigate diseases, but you want to look at the studies, you want to look at the research and see what these natural products are doing for people. All right, and then stories are better shared. So I want to share a story tonight about a couple of dogs that I've had the pleasure to know in my life, because we have products that are in the animal line. It's called Pet Tandem. And this is Lola. When my husband and I adopted her, she was a 7-year-old Great Dane. She was living with a foster mom in Tucson, Arizona, and she had some health conditions. She had some tumors on her body, and her foster mom, when she found out that I was a very active person, she just wanted to forewarn me. Lola was not a very active dog at the time. She was known to be very sluggish and what have you. And I had been utilizing the products for a couple of years. I was a customer at the time, and I had watched some of the testimonials on YouTube. YouTube. If you go to YouTube and search Protandem and dogs, Protandem and horses, you can see some remarkable stories. And so when Lola came into my household, I got her on the products. I started activating her body. And within about a month, we would just go on. I lived in an apartment at the time, so we just go on some gentle walks in the morning and the evening. And I had a spot near my apartment that she could be off leash and we could just walk together. And one day she just took off running. She didn't run away, but she just started running some sprints and she just looked so happy and joyful. I came home and told my husband and he was like, what? And that became the trend. And you can just see here, this is just a little clip of Lola. I mean, this was the dog that didn't have energy, that didn't like walks, and she just loved running free in the grass. And what I love about the stories with animals is that animals don't have the placebo effect that humans can have. So if you're familiar with the placebo effect, essentially, if we know something is going to help our body, then that alone can start to show positive effects in people's change because they just know they're getting healthier and they start to experience being healthy. However, animals don't know when you're giving them something new. They're just like, oh, thanks for the treat. That tastes good. And this is Sadie, a client of mine's dog that started on Protandem in February of 2019. That's right about when I joined the business. He was a personal training client. He came in one day and he was just really bummed. He says, my sweet dog won't jump up on the bed anymore. She is not wanting to go on walks. And he was just heartbroken. And so I told him about these products. He got his dog started on the products. He also started on the products. And Sadie is still out on the trails today, nearly 2 years later. So just think about the lifespan of a dog versus the lifespan of a human and how much more quality of life she's getting now. She's still jumping up on the bed and what have you. So oh, and what I really want to share about Sadie is that she was on the products doing great. And then her owner went traveling and she stayed with his son. And while she was with his son, she did not have her pet Tandem. It was about a 10-day stretch. And when he came home, she was really struggling. She was not doing well. And he almost took her to the vet. And then he got her going again on her pet Tandem. And within a couple of days, she was back running around. And he called me earlier this summer to share that story because he was like, I can't believe it. So that just really reassures me because I am someone that's very skeptical. I question things. So I love hearing and seeing animals have a good quality of life. All right, so with that, I'm going to jump into a little bit more about the company. So like we talked about, LifeVantage started out on the retail stores with these products, and then they weren't really selling because people didn't know what it was. And so in 2009, the company had a business specialist come in and evaluate the company, and they just were stuck. They were doing about 3 million sales a year or whatnot, and they weren't really growing. And when he saw the ABC report, this specialist, he said, hey, you know, there's a model called network marketing, and it's all about people sharing the stories. And so they recommended that the company switch from retail into this direct sales model. And that happened 11 years ago, now coming up on 12 years. And it made a huge difference. The company has been doing great ever since. They're headquartered in Utah. If I didn't mention it earlier, it's publicly traded on the NASDAQ. You can look it up, LFVN, and it's a debt-free company. And the board of directors has some really powerful people from some well-known companies, executives from Coca-Cola, Airbnb, Amazon, SC and Johnson. And then trends. You know, whenever you're looking at stepping into a business opportunity, you want to know about the trends. So this is the trends in network marketing. You can see wellness is on the rise for the last 8 years. And can you imagine with COVID and 2020, the last year, and so much more awareness is coming to people about their health. And then with LifeVantage, we are involved in 6 different markets that are on the rise. So obviously our anti-aging, it's a $300 billion market with the Protandem. Like I mentioned, we have this NRF2 technology in the skincare line. The hair care is phenomenal. The pet care, obviously, I talked about. The Axio, this is our energy product, the brain drink. And I was very suspicious of this when I first learned about it because I've never been a fan of energy drinks. I think people depend too much on them, but this energy drink is literally NRF2 activation for your brain. And any fellow chiropractors out there or followers of Joe Dispenza, he is a chiropractor that does a lot of brain mapping. And a colleague of his was also doing brain mapping. And he had a client that was utilizing the Protandem and Axio, and he started on them after he was involved in doing these sessions. And there were remarkable, notable changes on these images of the brain. So, these products really are causing changes within the body. Plus, with the Axio, you feel good. I'm a very caffeine sensitive person, but with this, it's green tea, and I don't get that like, whoo, crazy high. It's just nice, steady energy. And then here's a little bit more on those trends. It used to be cosmetics leading the way in 2017. And then now we have this shift. People are more focused on wellness. How can we take care and be well, take good care of our bodies? And this is the ideal business model. As far as I'm concerned, LifeVantage is on the forefront of what is a wellness revolution, meaning we are responsible for our wellness. We need to educate ourselves. If you watch regular television, if you watch the commercials, you see all these side effects. When you take natural products, your body doesn't have all those side effects. And so there's a lot of benefits to that. And the perfect business model, you can work from home, work from anywhere. You can build it on the road, fit it into your everyday life. You're provided with a virtual office, low cost of entry. You don't have to have any of your own stock minus the products you're utilizing. And then you get this personal online store. And when you get to a certain level in the company, you get paid on the daily, plus lots of opportunity for travel. And hopefully we'll get to do more travel soon. And then here's our average annual earnings disclosure, as I mentioned. So I'm currently a Pro 3 in the company, and it shows you here average monthly commissions, $626 by someone that's a Pro 3. And then it shows you at the end, it typically takes somebody about 8 months to get this to this rank. Like I said, you get out what you put in. While I joined this company in 2019, I didn't immediately dive in and put a lot of effort into it. And so it's grown slower for me, but that's just how it works. I still love the products, and obviously I'm making an effort here to grow my business in 2021. And then we have our Premier Pro 5. Here now, you're starting to talk a little bit more money, about $3,100 a month. So that starts to maybe replace somebody's income and makes a real difference in people's quality of life. And I'll tell you, as a Pro 3 in 2020, I'm a health and fitness coach, and a lot changed in the year. So it made a big difference for me to build this business when some people were putting their accounts and things on hold. And then you move up into Pro 7 that's available. And now we're really talking about income that can help people to maybe bring a spouse home and make a big difference in people's financial quality of life and not just their quality of health. So how you can get started, we have these different enrollment packs. The Platinum pack essentially gives you something of every product, and you can see there's substantial savings here. So 33, 35%, and you get to sample all the different products, get to feel what it's like to have your body activated. And then here also just a little bit more about the enrollment pack. So you can see that Platinum pack, $1,250, typically about a $2,000 purchase. We have our gold pack as well, silver pack, and then the starter kit just to kind of get your business started would be $50. You're not ready to earn commissions at that point, but that would just get you on the map that you can start having your website and sharing this with people. So very low cost of entry. I used to own a gym and had a brick and mortar, and even having now a virtual business for my personal health and coaching business, I have more overhead than I do for this business to just have my products every month. So, it's a very accessible business model. And so maybe you're asking yourself, can I do this? I'll tell you, there are people from all walks of life. I can be a very introverted person. I'm also a people pleaser. And so I've been a little bit more slow. I've been a little bit slower in building my business. But what I tell people, if you love personal development, if you're someone that wants to get beyond your fears and help to develop yourself, I'm a huge fan of looking at network marketing because you'll have a team of people that support you, and it's fun. It's really fun to work with like-minded people. And you have global customer support. There's an easy to follow system known as ITT that we train people on. We have regular meetings and trainings that you can attend or watching the recordings of if you can't attend live. So there's lots of flexibility. And then just here a few more things about the company. So we've had a lot of breakthroughs and a lot of awards. 2019, best places to work for the third year in a row. So take good care of the employees and the people in the business. And then here we expanded. We're an international company. So here in 2019, launched in Europe and Ireland. Erin Brockovich, if you're familiar with her, Julia Roberts played Erin Brockovich in the movie. She is a health and wellness advocate and is really big on clean products that are supportive to our bodies and the environment. So it's really fantastic to have her on our board of directors. And then we won some awards for the product. Stevie Award, the hair care system won several awards when it was launched and still today. And then we were added to the Russell 3000 Index on the NASDAQ. We added companies and we outreached into New Zealand back in 2019. And let's see what else. We've just had a lot of good growth. And in early 2020, before the shutdown happened, LifeVantage had the opportunity to ring the closing bell on NASDAQ. So that was a fantastic opportunity and really speaks to the growth of this company. So yeah, flip the switch, do better. Another thing I just want to mention is that we are supported by the BSCG. So any other athletes that are here on the call, that means that it's approved by the Banned Substances Control Group. So it's completely safe. Even if you're competing at the Olympic level, it's safe to have your body activated. And there you have all the different markets that we're in. We're in Asia, North America, New Zealand, Australia, Dominican Republic, and lots of European countries as well. And we do a lot of outreach, building homes in Mexico. We do a lot to give back to the company. So where do you go from here? Perhaps you are looking for more information. Perhaps you're interested in becoming a customer, or if you want to join the team. You know, really what you want to do is get back to the person that invited you. I'm going to go ahead and just stop the screen share. And I just want to share a couple more things about, where's my cursor? Oops. Let me escape. There we go. I'll get it here. All right, so before I jump off, I just want to share a couple more things about what does it mean to be activated versus supplementation. So when we supplement, I talked a little bit about it earlier, right? We're like turning on the pathways in our body that make our own supplements. But essentially, I also like to think about it like as if when you take a supplement, if you imagine that you had a fire in your house and your cells is your house, and you call the fire department and they come to your house and they're going to spray water on your house, and maybe they're like throwing Dixie cups of water to try to put out the water. That's similar to when we're eating blueberries and taking supplementation versus when we're activating. The difference that's going to be, if you think about it from this analogy perspective, it's like turning on the sprinkler system. So it helps the body to be proactive and to have a more potent response. So I just really invite you to check out these products. They really make a difference for not just the quality of life of the animals that I shared tonight, but also with people. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you being here. If you have any questions, please feel free to hang on the line. We're going to stop the recording. And then again, just get back to the person that invited you. And thank you so much. Have a great night.